of tankers, both KC-135s and the KC-46 over there. And so we have to be able to do that back and forth. So certainly I'll be very focused with the Air Force and working with General Healy to make sure the systems that come on board, that we can have the best systems capable for our airmen that are out there flying those mission sets. And I've never completed a combat mission without refueling, either before, after, or both.
And so, again, I know that Boeing's talking about getting the new remote vision systems into the planes after 27, but how are you talking to them about what's going to happen with those already in service?
Ma'am, I know that there's pressure from the Air Force for retrofitting the RVS systems on those existing KC-46s. We've got 2 units in the Air Force Reserve. We're classically associated with 1, and we have a unit equipped one at Seymour Johnson. We're just as concerned about getting the proper equipment in the current systems.
Well, thank you. I'm sure the chair and ranking member will be very interested in what we might do in the defense appropriations bill to help address that as well. Thank you all.
Senator Moran.
Chairman, thank you. Let me join Senator Shaheen in expressing concern about KC-46 A's and KC-46 135s and 46s. They matter greatly in Kansas, both in the active duty and the Guard. And I want to start by asking questions about that. Certainly about the safety issue of Boeing. And we're anxious for all of the fleet to be updated with the latest and safest technologies. And we saw the need for that in Epic Fury. But our KC-135s are relied on significantly, but they are an aging fleet. Modernization of that force needs to take place quickly. And I'm asking you, General Nordhaus, about recapitalization plans, particularly for our Air Guard, National Guard refueling wings.
Senator Moran, thanks for the question. As we look at the National Guard, we're in the fight every day. And so when we look at what we're doing over in Epic Fury, we're 30% of the operational Air Force, and we're over 30% of that air power over in Epic Fury right now. So critical capability, like you said, that we need for our nation and for our joint force. We know that we have MOB 9 getting ready to go out for all the KC-135 wings to be able to apply for the next KC-46 fielding. As you know, that process is run through the Air Force corporate process. It's transparent, repeatable, and defendable, and we'll make sure that all wings compete fairly for that. And we look forward to MOB 9 being pushed out when those planes come on board.
What's the time frame you expect, General?
I don't have the exact time frame right now, but I believe it's in the 2030 to early 2030s. But we need to modernize the rest of the fleet as well. So 14 of our 17 KC-135 wings are flying those KC-135s, and they were built in the 60s and the 70s. And so they need to be modernized as well.
General, this sounds like an aside. It's more than an aside. When I learned of the difficulties that tankers were having in theater a few weeks ago, I immediately thought of Kansas and Kansas families, both Guard and active duty. And I would just highlight for you all, I had insufficient capability at that time to learn about what planes and what units and whether National Guard or Kansas was involved in those accidents. And I couldn't get an answer either in state or in Washington, D.C. And I think that's an error that needs to be corrected for the future. There just was no information for days, and I learned finally mostly from the public press as to what units and National Guard members were involved. I'd just welcome your help in making certain that in the case of Epic Fury and future engagements that we have the capability of learning what's going on for the information of family members back home.
Absolutely, Senator. We'll take that on. And as Each week right now, I'm currently speaking with all 54 adjutants generals every Monday and Thursday. And so we'll continue to work that and make sure that we get timely information to you.
Thank you very much. I'm getting interested again and engaging in this issue of duty status reform. I'd welcome any support that you'd like to make this morning for our efforts to address this issue. How can this process be streamlined to provide Guard and Reserve with the efficacy it needs in response and missions? And how do we make sure that our Guard members and their families know what they're entitled to under what status?
Senator, I'm going to speak very quickly because I know my other reserve chiefs are very focused on this as well. But duty status reform is critical. It simplifies over 30 statuses down to 9 and then in 4 categories. It helps guarantee parity with equal pay and benefits for service members serving side by side. It speeds mobility. It increases National Guard readiness and reduces error. And then it creates less frustration for our service members and their families, and it provides the health care that they need on time.
Sir, I just add on to it. This is clearly and simply a retention issue. Make it easy for our members to serve. We've been working and looking at duty status reform since I was a lieutenant colonel, so that's 20 years we've been looking at this. We finally got some options and opportunities coming up through the House side, so we gladly welcome anything on the Senate side to coordinate with that.
We intend to lead on this issue and would inform my colleagues of the value of their support, and we welcome their input on how best we can write legislation that gets duty reform accomplished. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Moran. Senator Bozeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Senator Coons, for having this important hearing, and we appreciate you all so very much and your service to our country. I also would echo Senator Moran's concern about duty status reform. I visited with several of you about this and know how important it is. General Nordhaus, Congress funded the National Guard to purchase Gray Eagles in fiscal year 23 and 26. We understand these platforms are still pending a basing decision. Can you explain the tactical advantage of the National Guard having the UAS program?
Thanks, Senator Bozeman. And it was a pleasure visiting Ebbing Field in Arkansas about a week ago. You have a terrific Adjutant General and General Chad Bridges. Thank you to Congress for 3 sets of Gray Eagles. The first one has been identified to be bedded down in Arizona. There are 2 units to be stationed.